Dodia sir, shall we start?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Good afternoon, all of you. Respected MD sir, treasurer ma'am, principal, dean, HOD, faculty members, and all my dear students. I, Bhavna Lakhani, on behalf of Vikrant Group of Institutions, extends my sincere welcome to our today's session on design thinking, critical thinking, and innovation design. Vikrant College always encourage students to think, innovate, and transform themselves and take this world to the new heights. And thus, we established Vikrant Incubation Center. Under this incubation center, we will soon organize idea competition. You all are invited. Students can register themselves and showcase their creativity. The details and the launching ceremony will be soon declared. Today we have special speaker among us who is well known for his creativity and mentoring. He is Dr. Chirag Thaker. He is currently working as professor and head of department civil engineering at GEC Rajkot. He has published a book on data and file structure under Pearson publication. He has published more than 50 research papers in various national and international journals. He got Best Research Paper Award in April 2006 and 2007. He has delivered more than 52 expert talks, webinar, and seminar. So on behalf of entire Vikrant Group of Institutions, I extend my sincere welcome to you, sir, and thank you for your presence, sir. I hope you will enlighten our students with your gracious words. Hearty welcome to you, sir.
Thank you very much for your generous words. Shall I start my
Yes, sir.
Presentation?
Yes, sir, you go ahead.
So I'll share my screen. Okay.
Yes, sir, you can.
Yeah, thank you. So I hope I am quite audible and my screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, one and all, to join this online session, which you are attending in hybrid mode. I take this opportunity to thank the President, the Secretary, and the Director of Vikrant Group of Institutions, all heads of department at Vikrant Institute of Technology and Management, Indore and Gwalior campus. This is really a great opportunity for me to interact with all you young minds. I take this opportunity to thank Professor Dr. P.S. Bison sir, Professor Jitendra Dodia sir, Professor Dr. Mamta Meena sir, and Professor Bhavna Lakhani sir, Lakhani ma'am. Thank you. Professor Dr. Mamta Meena deserves special acknowledgement because she invited me and she has been my point of contact. Thank you, ma'am, for being kind enough. Thank you, Professor Bhavna, for introducing me to the audience. Thank you for your kind and generous words. And let us start the session on design thinking, critical thinking, and innovation design. Let us salute the Corona warriors and let us acknowledge their efforts. And when I say Corona warriors, we include not only the doctors and the paramedical staff, it includes the policemen, the vegetable vendors, the Safai Karmacharis, the municipality workers, the people who actually delivered goods and grocery items at our doorsteps during those testing time. And right now, yet COVID-19 is not over, but we are taking enough precautions, and as and when the opportunity comes, we should always get vaccinated, even with booster doses. This is an acknowledgement slide. The presentation acknowledges content, especially images are taken from Google, because the presentation has many images and they are The common image URL from Google is www.images.google.com. There are certain slides where the image source is written. There are some slides where the image source is missing. In that case, the common image URL is images.google.com. The images are used purely for an academic purpose. And as the presenter, I have no intention of copyright infringement. So I make this declaration first. And now let us start the session with some finest quotes from some of the finest and most known humans. One is from our father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. He says, "Be the change you want to see in the world." And the second one is from Albert Einstein. He says, "I fear the day that technology will surpass our human interaction. The world will have generation of idiots." These two quotes are regarding the design thinking part. So John Spencer says, "Design thinking isn't a subject. It's an empathy-centered approach to creativity." And another one is from Mr. Bruce. He says, "When people talk about innovation in this decade, they really mean design." This is going to be my flow of presentation. I will be talking about design thinking, the basics, benefits. Then we will have a couple of slides which will be focusing on design thinking process. There are two major models we are going to discuss in this design thinking. Then there will be some thoughts on design innovation. And I'm happy to note that you have Vikrant Incubation Center, and in a very near future, you are going to kickstart a very novel kind of event. And I hope all the students will participate in that event. So Tinkering Lab, Innovation Center, Incubation Centers, these are very much integral part of the SSIP or innovation ecosystem. And this innovation ecosystem will definitely help you to give or to channelize your thoughts, your ideas, and you can just create prototypes and products. So we have some slides dedicated on innovation process, and then we'll just try to understand the difference between invention and innovation. After that, I'll cover types of innovations, and then we will enter the formal part of critical thinking. So we'll discuss portions like critical thinking and problem solving, what is the difference, and then we will elaborate on problem solving process. And in the end, I'll have a couple of examples of critical versus creative thinking. So this is going to be my flow of presentation, in which I'll it's divided into three parts: design thinking, innovation, and then critical thinking. So this is an informal definition from Mr. Tim Brown, CEO of IDEO. He says design thinking is a human-centered approach to innovation that draws from the designer's toolkit to integrate the needs of people. So this is number one, needs of people, the possibilities of technology, and third, the requirements for business success. And in a greater detail, we are going to discuss this definition. So there's a confusion, and let us in the very first minutes of the presentation, let us create or let us build clarity. There's a difference between design and design thinking. Design includes individuals, it focuses on products. Design thinking is all about teamwork, and design thinking has experiences. Design is all about engineering and art and the common points of engineering and art. Design thinking has a third dimension, that is technology, business, and human. So design thinking is all about feeling, imagination, activity, and sharing. So basically, when we say design thinking has three major pillars: desirability from people, feasibility, that is technology feasibility, and then viability, that is business viability for success. So desirability is keeping the people in mind. Feasibility is technological feasibility. And when we say viability, it is for success. So requirements for success. And if you take the cross section of these three major points, then the answer is design thinking. So basically, when we started the journey some decades before, we always used to believe that design thinking is a subset of design, and business and technology, these are two different dimensions. But that is not the case. Now we are very clear that design thinking actually encircles three major bubbles or concepts: design, business, and technology. So design thinking is a superset so far as design, business, and technology is concerned. So now, if we sum up last three slides, we can very easily say that design thinking is all about market desirability, business viability, and technological feasibility. Now, if we continue that discussion, design thinking has a lot to do with thinking process, actionable insights, and mindset. So design thinking requires positive attitude, experimental appetite, playfulness, future-oriented approach, and the team should have tolerance of mistakes. So far as actions are concerned, design thinking is all about achieving empathy. You have to think about people. You have to put yourselves in their shoes, and then you have to try to find out their problems or their difficulties, and then you have to think about the solutions. So you should be empathic in nature. One important point is interdisciplinary collaboration is very much required. Design thinking cannot work in isolation. Design thinking cannot exist in as a distant island. Interdisciplinary collaboration is very much required. It has one important action like early prototyping or visualization of idea, because idea visualization will take you to the prototyping part. Iteration during the process. And so far as thinking is concerned, the design thinking team requires holistic approach. And you also need both kind of thinking, divergent thinking and convergent thinking. Divergent thinking is like you have one central idea, one central concept or theme, and from that central idea or concept, you are taking all dimensions into consideration. And convergent thinking is there are many views, there are many ideas, variety of ideas, but they ultimately amalgamate or converge at one common point. So that is called convergent thinking. So both this thinking process are required. Intuitive thinking as well as methodological thinking is required. Design thinking team should be rational enough as well as emotional enough. So a perfect blend of emotionality and rationality is very much required in design thinking. And design thinking has to have the approach of thinking against stereotypes. That means you have to think out of the box. You have to think something which is innovative in nature or which is out of the box in nature. Now, once we understand this, let us just try to understand the design thinking process. So there are two aspects. One is contextual, another one is formative. In formative, you have ideate and prototype. So you always start with empathize. That is, if I combine design thinking and innovation, your innovation should be human centered. So you should have people or end user or the community for whom you are seeking a solution. They should be centered approach or central to your central idea or theme. Ideate part. Innovation is born from a clash of ideas. Then prototype. That is the first working model. The conventional understanding of prototype is the first working model. So innovation should be brought to life. Then taste and define. So define and empathize is all about contextual part. If you have any query right now, don't hesitate. In coming slides, it would be clear. So now let us try to understand the cycle called design thinking. So it has three major aspects: understanding, exploration, and materialization. Understanding includes empathize, define. Explore includes ideate and prototype. And materialization includes taste and implement. So what is empathize? You conduct research to develop an understanding of your users, end users, people for whom you are trying to find out a solution. Define. Combine all your research and observe where your users' problem exists. Then comes the ideate part. Generate a range of crazy creative ideas. Now you enter the prototype part. Build real tactile representation for a range of your ideas. And then you enter the materialized part, that is test and implement. Now, if we elaborate the last slide, I can here say that you have to conduct research to develop an understanding of users. Then you combine all your research and observe where your user problem actually exists. And then you generate the ideas, then you go for a prototype and then test. So when you test, you return to your users for the feedback part. That is part of the materialization segment of design thinking process. And this design thinking process ends with implementation. And it's a cyclic activity. So there may be more than one iterations of this design thinking process. So let us try to take each of the component or segment of the design thinking process. So let us start with empathize. So empathize is all about learn about the audience for whom you are designing by observation and or interview. So here you will ask these basic questions to your team. Who is my user or end user and what matters to this person? So basically in empathize segment, what we try to do is try to develop a deep understanding of the challenge. And for that, you have to learn about the audience. How do you learn about the audience? Through interviews, shadowing activities, seek to understand, and you should not be judgmental. In this phase, you should not be judgmental. You should be very open-minded and open-hearted just to find out their issues. So what is at the end of this empathize? What is the problem? You have to define the challenge and explore the human context. Now, once your empathize is done, you enter the second stage of your design thinking process. That is define. So in this define, it clearly articulate the problem you want to solve. So here you finish the articulation part of the problem. So you have to create a point of view that is based on user needs and insights. So both is equally required, insights as well as the need of the user. And your focus question is what are their needs and how you going to find it out through research, observation, understanding, and by creating a very solid point of view. And how you are going to do it? You can ask, you can sharpen very key questions, and the answers will give you that need analysis. So the activities which you are going to cover in this second stage of design thinking process, that is define, it is personas or personal elaboration, role objective decisions, challenging and pressing points or pain points. Now, once your define is over, you will enter the third stage, that is ideate. So why ideate is important? Because in this very stage, you are going to brainstorm ideas. Either they are good or they are bad, but you are not going to stop at the obvious one. So brainstorm gives potential solutions. You can select and develop your solution. So in brainstorm, in ideate stage, what you are going to do is you are going to brainstorm and come up with as many creative ideas, or I should say as many creative and crazy ideas or solutions as possible. In fact, if you are a team leader, you should always encourage wild ideas. So you will come up with potential solutions. You can select and develop your solution or set of solutions. So the major activities during this stage is share ideas, divergent thinking, convergent thinking is required, yes thinking is required, and you have to prioritize your solutions. That is, creative solutions you can prioritize at the end of the stage. Now, once your this is over, you enter the prototype part. So design a prototype or series of prototypes to test all or part of your solution. So basically what you are going to do is you are going to build representations of one or more ideas which you actually want to implement through prototypes, through working models. So how do you create it? You start, create, experiment, fall cheap and fast. That means during this prototype phase, you are going to do these many activities: mockups, storyboards, keep it simple, fail fast, and iterate quickly. There are many companies which are working, which are technology leaders or which are manufacturing leaders. They keep these storyboards, and these storyboards are very much integral part of the company office environment. So in this prototype phase, you are going to build a representation of one or more of your ideas, and you are going to show it to others. So once you show it to others, how can I show my idea? You have to remember that a prototype is just a rough draft. So whether you are developing or optimizing a process or a product, what you are going to do is you are going to just create a rough draft or a rough assembly of items by creating a prototype. Now, once your prototype is done, you will engage in a continuous short cycle innovation process. And why you are going to do it? To continually improve your design. So you are going to test your ideas and you are going to gain the user feedback. So this is one stage in which you can go back to your users whom you actually interviewed to understand the need analysis. You can go back to them. You can get your prototype tested, or you can get your product or process tested, get that genuine feedback, and then you implement it to improvise your product or process. So the major activities you are going to carry out in this stage is you have to understand the impediments, what works, what does not work. Sometimes you have to also there are many processes for which you are testing, so you have to adapt role play or iterations very quickly. So basically, if I sum up the last five slides, I can say that you can have empathize, define, ideate, prototype, taste, and all this. So basically, in empathize, it is who's who, like whom for whom you are solving for. Define and ideate is all about what. That means what are their needs. Ideate and prototype has common point called how you will solve the problem, and then why your work matters to the end users. Now, once you are fine with the 5 stages of design thinking process, these are going to be the sample strategies. So if you are in empathize phase, you have to know the user and their need. So you have to understand the user's perspective. And that's why example strategies are empathy map, observations, or interviews. If you are in the ideate stage, you are going to explore ideas and options to address the problem and begin to narrow that. And what are the activities or sample strategies you are going to adapt for the ideate stage? Brainstorm, journey map, and forced analogy. For defined stage, the strategies are tell a story or confirm with users. For prototype, the strategies you are going to adapt is for paper prototyping or storyboard or role play. And in that phase, what you are going to do is you are going to experiment by making ideas tangible enough or act out processes. Now, once you understand these 5 stages in the design process, let us try to understand that these 5 phases or stages in the design thinking process is a non-linear process or non-linear model. Why? Because from taste, if my taste reveals that I need to redefine the problem, I can straightway go back to define stage. From taste, I can go back to empathize. From define also, I can go back to empathize. Sometimes I have reached the prototype phase. From prototype, if I find out I have to learn from prototypes to spark new ideas. So if new ideas are required at the end of prototype, you feel that there was something wrong with my original idea or it required some kind of betterment. From prototype, you can go back to the ideate stage. Even from test also, if your testing results show that there are new ideas, there is room or opportunity for new ideas, then from test also, you can go back to ideate stage. So in a nutshell, what I want to convey to you is design thinking is a non-linear process model in which from any stage, you can go back to either ideate or define or empathize. So now we come to a slide which is quite elaborative in nature, and I hope it is quite visible. Just for understanding, can I say I'm audible enough?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to In empathize, what are going to be your activities? So your activities are going to be user interviews, informal chit chats, observations, picture taking, immersive approach, and what are going to be your deliverables? Personas, empathy map, list of user feedback, problems identification, that is going to be deliverables. In the defined stage, what are the activities I'm going to, as a design thinking team, what are the activities I'm going to take? I will take workshops, stakeholder meetings, focus groups. If it is a larger product or a larger prototype, you are thinking about, you can create small clusters of people and you can call them focus groups. What are going to be the deliverables in this stage? Your deliverable would be stakeholder map or opportunity map, customer journey map, or it can be the design brief about the product or process. In ideate stage, what are going to be your deliverables? Obviously, ideas or concepts, sketches, affinity map, and idea evaluation is going to be the deliverables at the end of the ideate stage. But what are the activities you are going to take in this? So ideation activities, brainstorming, workshops, mind maps or concept maps, and sketching and drawing are the major set of activities you will undergo so far as ideate stage is concerned. Prototype is the fourth phase or stage in design thinking process. The deliverables here are wireframes, storyboards, or physical or digital prototypes. And what are the activities you are going to take up? You will take up space prototyping, physical or digital prototyping, paper constructions, wireframe building, storyboards, and role plays. What activities you will take in the last stage, that is a test stage or phase, user testing, observation, picture taking, evaluation, and discussions. And the deliverables which you are going to think about is observation, evaluation map, and proposed refinement. So friends, basically what I want to cover is design thinking is a non-linear process comprising of these 5-6 stages, and each of the stage has a very predefined goal, very set of activities, and a very listed set of deliverables at the end of this design thinking process. Now, once we are clear with this, let us try to understand the second paradigm or second model of design thinking process. Now, it is called double diamond model. Now, why it is called double diamond? From the screen, you can very easily figure out. But this double diamond model is basically based on 4 Ds: discover, define, develop, and deliver. What is discovery phase? Insight into the problem. What is define? The area to focus on. Develop potential solutions or set of potential solutions. Deliver solutions that work. Now this double diamond model has 3 major events: triggering event, design brief, and proven concept. Between triggering and design brief, there is analysis and synthesis. And this analysis and synthesis requires divergence and convergent thinking process respectively. That means analysis requires divergent kind of thinking and synthesis requires convergent kind of thinking. So basically what you are going to do is you are going to articulate the problem or the design challenge. So in this first diamond phase, you will articulate the problem or the design challenge. And then what are the activities you are going to do in this first diamond stage? 3 activities iteratively: ask, try, and look. Ask, try, and look. And what you are going to achieve, discovery part would be over and define part would be over. That means at the end of the first diamond, what you are going to achieve is define the point of view, a very clear opportunity to generate ideas. So your design brief would be ready at the end of the first diamond. Now you enter the second diamond. And second diamond is all about developing the potential solutions and delivering the solutions that actually work with the end users or user community. So this would be having analysis and synthesis, again divergent thinking and convergent thinking respectively, but the set of activities are different. Here in the first diamond phase, the set of activities were ask, try, and look. Here the set of activities here are learn, prototype, measure. learn, prototype, and measure. And it is iterative in fashion. So you can have multiple iterations of this double diamond learn, prototype, and measure activities as per the requirement. At the end of the second diamond, you will have the trial and error with users to refine the solutions. Now, let us try to understand this double diamond design framework. So it has three major stuff: opportunity space, opportunity statement, and then solution. And it is iterative in nature, which goes from opportunity space to iterative design, from iterative design to solution, and from solution to test. So basically what you are going to do is, in opportunity space, you will identify and understand the needs of your end users through co-creation. Then you will ideate and develop the concepts based on the identified opportunity. And so you can come up with opportunity statement at the end of the first diamond. Now, when you enter the second diamond, you focus on solution part. That is, you have to iteratively prototype and test the concepts with potential users. And you have to gather the feedback through testing, and then you have to analyze and interpret the feedback and need to map them into the diagram. So it is a multiple loop system called double diamond design framework. Now, when you focus on this double diamond design framework, the first diamond is all about research, analysis, and synthesis. The second diamond is all about prototype, test, and refine. That means before you start the first diamond, you have to identify the opportunity through either ideas or insights or legislations and market change. Now, at the end of the first diamond, when you want to actually enter the second diamond, your vision plus plan should be ready. And at the end of the second diamond, key performance indicators would be up, revenue would be up, conversions is achieved, customer satisfaction is attained, and brand building is an important segment. So there are 5 major stuff: KPI, revenue, conversation, customer satisfaction, and brand building, so far as the delivery of second diamond is concerned. But the striking feature here is the working ethics of both these diamonds. In the first diamond, you have to understand why and define how. And for that, the catch line or the mantra is design the right thing. So for first diamond, your objective is design the right thing. And for that, to understand why and how. But the second diamond, the objective is different. Design the thing right. You already understood the right thing. Now you have to design the thing in a rightful manner. You have to design the thing in a rightful way. So create the desired outcome iteratively. So you are not going to cut the corners. You are not going to compromise with quality or the expected features of the product or process which you are designing. In fact, in the second stage, you are going to design the thing right, rightful manner, rightly. So once you understand this, let us just try to accumulate all the ideas which we have discussed so far. So design thinking, then lean and agile. Lean is all about build, and agile is all about build the thing right in a rightful manner. So explore the problem, build the right thing, and then build the thing in a rightful manner. Now, once you understand that, you can understand the defined stage in design thinking. So it is all about the need statements. So need statement has 3 major sectors: user, need, and insight. Let us elaborate it. What do you mean by user plus need plus insight? User is all about develop the insights. Need, define a point of view. And insight, create problem statement. So once you understand this, let us try to understand this closed loop system. It's called design thinking process: discovery, ideation, experimentation, and evolution. And this is a contemporary design thinking process based on the previous models which we have discussed. And it is a closed loop feedback system. So discovery has 3 major components: empathy, research, and problem definition. Ideation is all about interpretation and creation. Experimentation has the ingredients of prototype or prototype development, test, and evaluation. And evolution is all about rethinking, redesigning, and repeat. Now, once this is clear, your obvious question is, what is the difference between business thinking and design thinking? So friends, you can very easily understand that business thinking has set of problems and then it converges it at one solution. But design thinking is all about understanding. So there may be this thinking process, there may be a set of variety of problems, and then you can have different solutions for variety of problems. So now there is a contradiction because when you are already there in the market, the approach is called lean startup approach. And the conventional approach which we are discussing, and very important one, very innovative one, is design thinking approach. So your obvious question is, if we are thinking about startup, if we are already in the market, or if we are already quite competitive environment in the market, we have to go with lean startup approach. So in that case, let us just try to understand the difference between design thinking approach and lean startup approach. The design thinking approach is all about broad questions, lean startup targeted questions. Design thinking is multidimensional problem, lean startup is narrow defined problem. Design thinking is need driven, lean startup is hypothesis driven. Design thinking, limited market, lean startup, as I told you, it's in market and it is all about refinement. Design thinking is about exploration. So design thinking approach has empathize, prototype, and test. Lean startup is build, measure, and learn. Now, once you understand this, you can elaborate the previous slide. You can say that your need analysis, shipment, and release. And that's why what you are going to do is your design thinking, lean user experience, and lean MVP development. What is MVP? Minimum viable product. So that is all about shipment and release. And it has many stages like build, feedback, taste, exploration. Now I come to design thinking. So design thinking has three major stuff which we already discussed: people desirability, technological feasibility, and business viability. But if I take the cross section of business viability and people desirability, I get emotional innovation. If I take the cross section of business viability and technology feasibility, I get process innovation. And if I take the cross section of people desirability and technology feasibility, I get functional innovation. But if I take the cross section or the common factor of this all three segments, then I can call it experience innovation. So design thinking actually is targeted towards experience innovation or innovative experiences. So I can say that in a nutshell, it is all about innovative experiences. Now, innovative solutions can only be found out from these innovative experiences. And that's why you have to understand needs of people, technology capability, and business success requirements. Now, once you understand this, you can very easily can say that this innovative experience is useful innovation. Now, why it is useful innovation? Because desirability all about will people like that? That is desirability. Viability is all about can it be viable, and feasibility, can we make it? Is it possible to make it? Feasibility. So when you take the cross section, it takes you to useful innovation. But in the three-dimensional stuff, we add the fourth dimension, and that is integrity. And it is just to measure the impact. That means human desirability, business viability, and technology feasibility is merged with integrity, and that is to measure the impact. And once you take this fourth dimension from emotional innovation or innovative experience, innovative experiences, now we arrive at innovation sweet spot. So design thinking innovation process is all about the concrete part and the abstract part. There are three major verticals: inspire, ideate, and implement. Define the challenge, observe the people, and portions of form the insights is very much part of inspire, in which challenge definition and observing people is concrete aspects. Frame opportunities and brainstorm ideas, they fall in ideate part of abstract thinking. And try experiments is very much concrete part and it falls in the vertical of implementation. Now, once you understand this, let us elaborate the previous two slides. So it is technology feasibility, business viability, and human values. So what is the cross section of technology and business? It is manufacturing, manufacturing technology, manufacturing process, supply chain management, and rapid prototyping. But business alone is not manufacturing. Business alone is all about account, finance, economic analysis, marketing, operations, information technology, entrepreneurships, competition, and strategy. Likewise, human values focus on usability and desirability. Now, these human value is comprises of anthropology, sociology, ethnography, need finding, psychology. But technology alone is all about engineering and analysis, statistics and dynamics, electronics and mechatronics, programming methodology, bioengineering, material science, thermodynamics, chemical engineering. That is the only technology dimension. But when you combine this technology dimension and human values, you get design and interactivity. And there, the components are visual thinking, human computer interaction, design for sustainability, and aesthetics and form. So, this is the full elaborative points of design innovation process in which organizational behavior includes management, teams, human resources, negotiations, and organizational dynamics. So once that is clear, you can very easily understand that design thinking and lean startup has overlapped periods. Lean startups and design sprint or design sprint and agile scrum has also overlapped part. That means there are three major stages. Either you have no business model, then you will definitely go with empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test to find out the solution. So it's a journey from problem to solution. If you are in the second stage, that is in unvalidated business model, you will focus on learn, experiment, test. And in that, you will focus on decide, sketch, prototype, test, and map. But if you have validated business model, your solution, and then if you have validated business model, you are no longer in the problem area or solution sphere. You are there in the market sphere. And market sphere is all about plan, sprint, review, retrospective. That's all. Now, once it is understood, you have to understand that whatever we are talking about business viability and all this, what actually we practice in industries. So in industries, when you are in the inspiration phase, it is all about observations. You focus more on telling stories, listening stories and telling stories. And then you move to ideation. And ideation is all about brainstorming. But ideation and implementation has cross-section called prototypes. And that's why from ideation, you go to implementation. And implementation is all about execution and communication. But this communication has links to observation. So it's a very complex model of loops getting created iteratively, and you are making a journey from inspiration to ideation, from ideation to implementation. Again, second iteration starts where implementation is communicated in the form of observations to inspire a new set of inspiration. Now, once this is clear, what actually you get, because we know that desirability, feasibility, and viability, we are quite well conversant now. So now what we try to focus is problem fit, solution fit, and growth fit, which is fit to problem, which is solution level fit, and which is ready for growth stage. So desirability and problem fit is all about proof of value. In SSIP ecosystem or innovation ecosystem, you have heard this POC, proof of concept. So it is all about an feasibility and solution. And then you have proof of market. And after proof of market, when you are in the growth stage, you will go to the viability part, that is proof of impact. So viability and growth actually gives you a very strong impact circle of proof of impact. Now, once this is clear, let us come back to our business, technology, and people aspects. So technology layer, design layer, and business layer are represented in a different way to this. You can see the encircled graph or image in which the outcome is products or processes. So technology layer is all about needs to function flawlessly. So if your technology layer does not function flawlessly, there will be problem. Design layer needs to solve human problems. And business layer, the focus is on generating the revenue stream. Now, once this is done, once we are quite clear with design thinking process and the allied aspects, now we can come back to the creativity part. So creativity, invention, and innovation. These are three major terms which are very much part of the innovation ecosystem. So let us just try to understand them and then compare the invention and innovation part. So creativity is an act of turning new and imaginative ideas into reality. But invention is all about creation of a new idea or a new concept. That is invention. Innovation is turning a new concept into commercial success or widespread use. Now that means invention and innovation has many aspects. So when I put invention and innovation together, I can say I get innovative invention. Now what do you mean by innovative inventions? It is only realized by adaptive innovations and unrealized inventions. That means there's a very clear-cut difference between invention and innovation. So let us just try to understand them. Invention is a novel product or a device, a process or a concept. Innovation is the introduction of a newer and better solution that meet new requirements or existing market need. Invention requires knowledge, competence, and financial aid. Innovation requires technical knowledge, competence, knowledge about market need, trends, and financial support. What are the examples of inventions? Printing, press, Gutenberg, electricity, Thomas Alva Edison, or Alexander Graham Bell, who came up with a new product called telephone. What are the examples of innovation? Introduction of the iPhone. Phones were already there. Mobile phones were already there in the market. Introduction of iPhone, tablet, flat screen, TV. These are the innovation examples. So let us elaborate the previous slide and just try to understand the comparison between invention and innovation with respect to certain points. Meaning wise, invention is all about idea for a product or a process that has never been made before. Jabki innovation, it is implementation of an idea for product or process for the very first time. What is invention? It is creation of a new product. What is innovation? Adding value to something already existing. But is concept at concept level, invention is an original idea and it's working in theory. Innovation is all about practical implementation of a new idea or a set of ideas. What skills I required in invention? Scientific skills. Innovation, set of marketing, technical and strategic skills. When invention occurs, new idea strikes a scientist. It's like eureka moment, or it's like that apple falling, the conventional story of apple falling on nearby where Newton was sitting. Innovation need for improvements in the new or existing products, and it's a very routine process, innovative process. Invention is concerned with single product or process. Innovation is concerned about combinations of various products and processes. What are the activities? Limited to R&D department, that is invention. Spread across the organization is all about innovation. And that's why we always say innovation is a teamwork or a collaborative efforts. So let us take some history old examples of innovations. If I say technology innovations, the striking examples are electricity, semiconductor, one major breakthrough, semiconductor, because we were quite comfortable with insulators and conductors in second industrial revolution, but semiconductor, making of a chip. And the third major technology innovation that has happened in the human race is the evolution of internet. So far as product innovations are concerned, cars, planes, or the iPad. Process innovations, first thing first, assembly line. Very famous examples of Ford Motor Company and many manufacturing industry where assembly line was laid, the conveyor belt actually created the magic, or the Kaizen approach. And now the latest process innovation is lean startup. And we already discussed a couple of slides on lean startup. What are financial innovations for the human society? Mortgage, derivatives, or latest in this world is venture capitalist or venture capital. Cultural innovation, civil rights movement, entrepreneurship or K-pop. What are the legal innovations? Forming corporations or class action lawsuits or startup visa. The latest legal innovation is startup visa. What are the innovation ecosystem? Rome, London, New York Center or New York City, and then the latest one is Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley is latest innovation ecosystem. Now we come to types of innovations. So it is major three categories: configuration, offering, and experience. In experience, you have service, channel, brand, and customer engagement. And in configuration, you have profit model, network, structure, and process. So let us elaborate them. So product performance is all about distinguishes features and functionalities. And product system is all about complementary products and services. Experiences is all about the brand or service. Service talks about support and enhancements that surround your offerings. Configuration, like process, signature or superior methods for doing your work, is called process innovation. What is a structure innovation? Alignment of your talent and assets is called structure innovation. Network is all about connections with others to create or value creation. So if we divide this configuration, offering, and experience sets of innovations, experience is harder to copy, like service, channel, brand, and customer engagement. The very well-known examples of customer engagement is Facebook or WhatsApp. Branding is Amazon, channel, Amazon Prime, service. One very good is Ola or Uber, and it is very hard to copy. Offering set of innovation is this platform-centric innovation, and it is all about product performance or product system. Like FMCG company, the products which are coming like Johnson's and Johnson's or Hindustan Liver, there are many products, so it is easier to implement. Like Parle biscuits, so product system. Configuration is all about profit model, network, structure, and processes. They are bolder concepts. Creating a structure or defining a process like Six Sigma process or Mumbai's Dabbawala process or networking. So network, yes, it is Mumbai's Dabbawalas. So this is a misfit site, but I have kept it here just to make you aware that you have incubation center and an event is going to happen. So incubate to innovate, and it includes connect, research, synthesize, imagine, plan, create, and collaborate. So the important part is how you create and collaborate, how you connect with people through communication. What are the research aspects? Identifying the product or process needs, synthesis phase, and all this. Now, if again we put this industrial design, human experience design, and human computer interaction HCI together, the common factors are like human factors, usability engineering. So human computer interaction is all about usability engineering and user interface engineering. User experience also has information architecture and communication design. But if you all sum up them, it is called interaction design, ID. That means there are 4 types of innovations: breakthrough innovations, sustaining innovation, disruptive innovations like venture capitalist model, innovation labs, basic research innovation. It is all about research divisions, academic partnerships, journals, conferences, and breakthrough like stunt works or open innovations, open prizes, all this. That means if I want to start my journey from inventions to impact, it passes through invention, innovation, improvement, and impact. And what are the stages it passes through? It starts with opportunity and challenges. Then it comes to generating ideas, which is a larger set. Then developing and testing. Then making the case or use case. Then delivering and implementing. That is stage number 5. Now you are in the improvement part. Growing and scaling. Changing the system. And then you arrive at the impact part. That means design is all about experience plus appearance. Now, what is appearance? Color or layout. What is experience? Emotion plus solution. That means experience and appearance gives you the design idea. And it goes very well with our second quote that nowadays, whatever you say innovation, it is all about the design, or whatever say design, it is all about the innovation aspects. So let us take a digital product innovation. Now, this digital product innovation is focusing on product thinking. So what do you mean by product thinking? It is user first philosophy. In that, your problems, what people do we solve? Target audience, for whom we are doing this. So it's for problem solution fit. It will take you to the vision and strategy, that is job to be done. And then there's a measured success for features and goals. So if you combine these product experiences, there are 3 major kinds of experience: low customer experience, medium customer experience, and high customer experience. And there are 3 verticals: new market, young market, and mature market. So mature market is all about disruptive innovation and breakthrough innovation. But young market in medium customer experience goes with incremental solutions. That's where the FMCG, consumer goods, actually comes into picture, incremental innovation. New market and low customer experience lead user innovation. So here you can lead the innovation journey. These are the 9 principles of innovation at Google. Ideas are everywhere. Customer focus, 10% project, through which they give 10% time in which the employee can do his own choice work. And it has given some of the marvelous products to the Google company. And they have made far more revenue than the conventional job titles they have given to their customers. So 10% or more projects has given or has created magic for the company called Google. Rely on the data and launch and connect it. Now we enter the third. I have 7 to 8 minutes left, and we enter the last part of the talk: critical thinking. So it's all about. So since the human evolution, there are 2 kinds of thinking which are very important. One is creative thinking, and another one is critical thinking. Creative thinking is all about. It is associated with people who are very much in the creative aspects or creative geniuses, like writing a novel, drawing, sculpture, cinematography, choreography, writing poems, novel writing, directors, actors, theater artists, painters. It's all about creative thinking. Another is critical thinking. Now, this critical thinking is all about problem-solving approach. And it is assumed that engineering graduates should have this capability of critical thinking. So problem-solving approach is focused on improvement, design, combinations, and invention. Critical thinking is all about analyzing the problem, breaking down the problem into components, compare, sequencing, ranking of the solutions, and all this. But creative thinking is imagination, invention, design, creation, and all this. So critical thinking and creative thinking has the concept called connecting and synthesizing. But problem solving and critical thinking has a common topic called innovation, solving problems, and taking risk. So if you sum them up, it is all about solution hypothesis, outcomes, strategies, and evaluation. So critical thinking has these 5 stages: analyze, interpret, evaluate, make the decisions, and problem solving. So what is a critical thinking skill? It is the ability to think for yourself. Critical thinkers ask questions to learn information, compare facts, create their own conclusions. So critical thinking is all about reasoning capability, evaluating ability, and problem solving approach. So critical thinking has many aspects like synthesis, evaluation, creation, and analysis. It has some features like questioning ability, betterment abilities, higher order thinking skills, and all this. So creative thinking is the thinking when we generate ideas. Critical thinking is the thinking we do when we judge ideas. So in critical thinking, you pose questions, you consider various perspectives, you identify and compare pros and cons, you determine causes, you predict effects, you look for proof, you draw conclusions, you avoid assumptions. So these are the activities in critical thinking activities. Creative thinking activities, you also pose questions, imagine possibilities, brainstorm solutions, elaborative in nature, improvisation, speculation, defer judgments, chase inspirations. It is all about creative thinking activities. So there are many thinking styles for this both creative thinking and critical thinking activities. So which are creative ones? Divergent, abstract, holistic, lateral thinking, and intuitive in nature. So lateral thinking is all about thinking out of the box. Intuitive thinking is that single concept which is coming to your mind. Convergent thinking and divergent thinking we already discussed. Analytical approach, concrete thinking. So these are the critical thinking skills: observation, analysis, inference, communication, and problem solving. So creativity versus intelligence. Now we are discussing this creativity. We have discussed inventions and innovations. So creativity is all about ability to perceive things in a novel manner, create new ideas and concepts, and thus to make innovation creation. Intelligence is all about ability to acquire knowledge and to utilize it accordingly is intelligence. So intelligence is asking the right question, used in a wider scope along with aspects of creativity, knowledge, logic, and rational thinking. Creativity primarily used with the concepts of imagination, talents, and innovativeness. So problem solving approach has background, condition, analysis, and plan. So in problem solving approach, how you take, what is your conventional approach? Start a problem, set a goal, brainstorm solutions, choose a solutions, make an action plan, and enjoyable activities. So problem solving process has defined the problem, then you analyze the problem. Then you establish the criteria, maybe the solution criteria, then consider possible solutions. Decide one solution out of many solutions, implement that particular solution, and then you take the follow-up action on that particular test. So problem solving approach has this it's called 7-stage ladder. So this slide talks about problems of problem solving. So what are the problems of problem solving? Problems are attributed to people and blame is a problem of problem solving. Problems are suppressed or hide the problems. Problems not being recognized early is also the problem of problem solving. Poor diagnosis. So group problem solving process define the problem, analyze the problem, generate the possible solution, evaluate the solution, implement and assess the solution. So this is the concept map or the idea map of problem solving. It has 3 major dimensions: assessment, monitoring, implementation, analysis, measurement, and planning. Analysis is all about possible causes like cause number 1, cause number 2, cause number n. Gap analysis. Identify the root causes. Possible set of solutions, solution 1, solution 2, and so on. Select one of the solutions from the possible solutions. So that all fall under analysis part. Measurement is qualitative and quantitative in nature. Implementation has pilot solution, document solution, and you have to plan your solutions. Assessment is all about short term and long term. Monitoring is measure results and compare them with the targets. So problem solving process, basically there are many elements. We have just put 6 of them: sources of problems, problem selection criteria, roles and responsibilities in problem solving, training system, set of problem solving tools, and then monitoring system. So now I come to the end of my presentation. Before I wrap it up, let me just give you a hint that, and this is out of the context, but I've kept it. We are right now in the 4th industrial revolution. The first industrial revolution was powered by steam and steam engines. The second industrial revolution, the inventions of electricity and manufacturing companies and electricity driven manufacturing processes. The third industrial revolution, which dominated the full of 19th and 20th century, is all about computing and computing capabilities. And the fourth industrial revolution would be based on intelligence. So thank you very much. I finished my session with a quote from Mr. Steve Jobs: computers are like a bicycle for our minds. So with this, I conclude my session and I open the forum for question answers. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, one student would like to ask any question. Priyanka from CS second year.
Hello, sir. How we develop our creativity?
How you develop your creativity?
Yes.
So you can develop your creativity through creative thinking process, because creativity is not just putting all ideas together. There is a very systematic way of creativity. So creativity is has to be, you should be imaginative in nature and rational in nature. So there is a creative thinking process, and through creative thinking process you can channelize your creativity.
I hope you got the answer, Priyanka. Anyone else would like to ask any question? Okay. Thank you so much, sir. So that topic is very typical and critical for us, and surely we got lot of things from you. And at last, I would like to call Professor Mamta Meena ma'am, convener ISC, to give vote of thanks to you, sir.
Thank you, Bhavna. Good afternoon to one and all gathered here. On this wonderful day, I would like to present the vote of thanks. We take this golden opportunity to thank the respected chief guest of this workshop, Dr. Chirag S. Thaker, Professor of Government College of Engineering, Rajkot, for giving his valuable time in his busy schedule. Thank you so much, sir, for agreeing on one call to give this session. I extend my gratitude to the chairman, sir, Mr. Rakesh Singh Rathod, managing director, Mr. Nitin Singh Tomar, treasurer, Ms. Garima Singh Tomar, dean academics, Professor Jitendra Singh Dodia, and all the HODs and students gathered here. I thank you, my wonderful students, for enthusiastically attending this session. Without you, this session would not be a success. I thank you sincerely to all the non-teaching staff, teaching staff, and technical members for glorifying this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir. Once again, thank you. And I hope next time you will be there in our campus only. That
Thank
was
you.
the virtual interaction, but surely we will get you in touch with us physically.
Yes, sir. We want your guidance to make success of Vikrant Incubation Center, and soon we are organizing an idea competition in our institute. So we want your guidance to make that event also in a successful manner.
Sure, madam. I'm always available, and it was great interaction with your faculty community as well as the students fraternity. Thank you very much. And thank you one and all.
Thank you so much, sir. Please give a big applause to our speaker of the day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I take the liberty to leave the meeting now. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.